Oh my God,
Yo, I can't
bro,
believe that
I'm
you're out here
just.
defending Kendrick when Kendrick Lamar is a known pedophile, rapist, ghostwriter.
I'm not defending Kendrick, dude. And also, I'm at Trader Joe's right now. So you want to talk about this?
Yeah, tell everybody in the Trader Joe's how you feel about Kendrick.
Bro, I like Kendrick as much as I like Drake.
No, that's not
I
that's
don't really give a
not
shit
what
about
the
either of
text
them.
message thread will show when push comes to shove.
I'm just saying that Drake, like, are we talking music or or like people?
I mean, it's impossible because we don't really know either of them as people. We only know them as artists.
No, but you see what the kind of vibe they give off, and you see what
Yeah,
kind of person
I
they
do like
are.
the vibe that Drake gives off more than Kendrick for sure. Drake is a fuck boy, which I fuck with. Kendrick is a communist fucking vaccine pushing fucking Ukraine supporting fucking transgenderism fucking pretends to be Jesus with the crown. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so you prefer Drake's Canadian blackface wearing Degrassi acting uh fucking weird ass over.
Now look. I'm not saying blackface is okay. I'm just saying he probably got it from his prime minister because apparently everyone's doing it over there.
That's good.
No, but for real, we don't love the blackface. But in reality, though, it's like the fact that he has to do blackface to be black is actually hilarious in itself, right? Like, because he's so white that he has to. He's already black, but he has to paint himself black to be black. It's funny. I think that's like a
He's
funny
half
just in
black, first
general.
of all. He's half black, first of all.
Okay,
All right.
no, and what is Kendrick? Half Somali, half fucking
Who
alien? What the fuck
cares,
is
dude?
he, dude?
I mean, Kendrick's actually like from the
I mean,
hood, you know? Kendrick's
yeah.
act
So is Drake though. Drake is from the
Drake
hood
is Drake is
of Canada, bro.
Drake is not from the hood. He
Bro,
grew up
just
as an
because
actor.
no, just
Wasn't
because
he on Barney? I'm pretty sure he was on Barney or
just
some
because
shit.
Drake segued and instead of doing all the drugs and drinking and gambling and shooting, he went down the Degrassi road doesn't make him any less of a hard guy.
Well, no,
He still got shot
Drake is
at
not.
Degrassi. He got
All right,
shot and
listen.
put in a
I
wheelchair.
agree. Listen, I agree with you that I don't think you need to have a struggle story to be like a good artist. You know, my favorite artist is like literally from the suburbs of Connecticut. Okay,
Is
so
that
it's
the
not.
one that
I
got
don't.
canceled?
He got canceled temporarily.
Was he
Yeah,
back?
John Mayer.
Oh, that is not who I'm thinking, but okay. Yeah,
Oh, you're thinking about the producer. Yeah, no.
yeah.
No, he's from Hawaii, and no, he's not back.
Oh,
He's
he's
not
still
back at
canceled.
all.
I was like, damn, the
But yeah,
Me Too thing just went off the
no,
edge
but
there. But yeah, okay.
I don't think you need to be like, you need to have like, there's this producer, his name's Fred again, right? And
Yeah, I've heard about
he
him.
obviously he's super famous, right? But then this news came out that he's like the heir to the James Bond franchise, and he like got musically trained from like a young age by this, you know, really popular producer Bryan, or whatever, and like, and then everyone was like, "Oh, Fred again's a nepo baby, rah!" And it's like that doesn't mean he doesn't make good music, you weirdo.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
why do you?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
So I agree with you. I'm from that camp of like, okay, yeah, maybe Drake doesn't have a struggle story, and he makes like hype music. I feel like a Super Bowl Drake halftime show would have been more hype, to be
Way
honest with
better,
you.
right? Way better for sure.
I think it would have been more hype. But all I'm saying is Drake is fucking weird, dude. He's fucking weird. He's like, there's all these stories and weird things about like shit he does, and he does these like really cringe, like he like live streams himself gambling, drinking a peach Bellini, doing an anime voice.
Yeah, look, yeah,
He
the
carved
steak.
a
This
heart. He carved a heart in his cornrows, and he like, I don't
look,
know. He's
he's a certified lover boy with all that gay shit, but the whole like he's doing steak betting and stuff. Yeah, I don't love that either. And the video that just came out where like a drone allegedly flew to his penthouse and saw his pics. Like, get the fuck out of here. It's clearly an ad. And by the way, you can't throw a flip flop, so learn how to throw some shit. But no, I agree. Drake's a strange individual.
He's not hard though, is what I'm saying. He's not
No.
hard.
He's a weirdo. He's like Patrick Mahomes, but the one that made music. You know, like
He's
he had a
exactly like
gangster
Patrick
dad.
Mahomes.
Yeah, gangster dad, gay brother, and he's trying to figure it out because his mom raised him. You know what I mean? Like kind of like that. Gangster estranged dad, I should say. But but the thing about Kendrick is like he perpetuates this whole pedophile thing when he has people amongst him that are actual pedophiles, and then he tries to pretend like he's some like righteous brother, speaking for the people, yet he's hanging out with the same dirty individuals.
Yeah, but isn't that just the industry, right?
I mean,
Isn't that just
it might just be adults. Like it sounds like pedophilia is just you either breathe air or you're a pedophile, like one or the other. You know what I mean? It's like pretty common. It feels like.
all of a sudden we find ourselves behind the paywall again.
No, this is a
All of
public
a
episode.
sudden. No, but like I'm just saying, bro. I don't think that you can't not. I'm sorry, you can't not tell me that Drake isn't some fucking cringy weird guy at times. You can't not say that.
I mean, but so
You
is Kendrick. That's why I'm like, they're both cringy, weird fucks.
I don't think Kendrick's cringy.
Yeah, he is, bro. Wearing a thorned rose crown, bleeding from your head, pretending to be Jesus. Talking about the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Meanwhile, you have a coke addiction and you hit your girl. And then you have a kid that's slightly less black than you and you're afraid to show him to the world. And that's not even like Drake and the Adonis thing. Like, legitimately, Kendrick films with other people's kids. He doesn't even film with his own fucking kid. Meanwhile,
Okay,
Drake's
but
got a whole fucking a record label
that's
for his kid.
you take one look at Kendrick and you take one look at Drake, and on the surface, you think that Drake is cringier. You have to go through an iceberg to know the lore that Kendrick has some problems. You know what I mean? Drake, he puts it all out there. And he showed up to that fucking the day of the Super Bowl. He had a show in Australia, and he showed up with a fucking hoodie with like bullet
Yeah.
holes in it
And
and shit. Like
again,
that's
if
weird.
Kendrick did that, it
Fucking
would have been the
weird.
most profound thing in the world. But because Drake did it, it's cringe.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
if Kendrick did it, oh my God, the 12 shots are for the 12 disciples
That
of
the point
Jesus,
is though,
and the
Kendrick wouldn't
fucking
do that.
10th man a slave or whatever, the fucking 10 days a slave, whatever, somehow is a reference, and the fucking red, white, and blue
Kendrick,
flag that Kendrick did is somehow an insult to Trump, even though it's literally his nation's flag. Like, people are retarded, actually.
sure, but Kendrick, yeah, I guess I
And
can see
the
that.
thing with Kendrick fans is they're so pretentious that they swear that Kendrick can be like, yeah, I like McDonald's because it's cheap. And they'll be like, dude, that's an attack at the industry because McDonald's is
Yeah,
cheap
no,
and it causes
look, I
cancer.
know.
It's like, fuck, dude. No way. Kendrick's
Well,
not
and
even.
there's some songs where I can't just casually. Well, not that I even casually listen to Drake or Kendrick, but I can't really like casually listen to Kendrick because it's kind of like I'm having to go into a word slam poetry sort of.
No,
Uh,
Kendrick's a manic artist. He's just manic. He's not consistent. He has episodes just like Kanye, and he just goes through manic episodes.
yeah, yeah.
Because I
I
mean,
mean,
look at Kanye's last two albums, three albums. They're trash. They're shit. I mean, there's two good songs on the entire fucking collection. Same thing with Kendrick. Meanwhile, you go
most of
back 10
Kanye's
years
shit
and
is
they're
not
putting out
good, by the
gold.
way. Most of
No,
Kanye's shit is not
we
good.
can. Oh no, no, no. We can start a
Most of
whole
it
other
isn't.
conversation right
No,
now if you want.
no.
Oh, I'm
Most of
sorry.
Kanye's shit is
Kanye's
not
the
good.
greatest producer to have ever existed. So
He's a great producer. He's not a
the
good
greatest.
rapper. No, no, that's not true.
He's
He's
so
not.
good at
Most
producing that he can say anything over his raps and it's profound. That's how good he is
I
at
personally
producing.
don't give a shit about like how he's, controversial. Like I don't really care. It doesn't affect me and I'm not too big of a
Sure.
fan of his where it doesn't matter to me, but he's not very
And I've
good.
always
And
separated the artist. I've
his
separated the artist from
his
the man.
he's just I don't know why half of these dudes are popular. There's so many more talented producers and rappers out there. Maybe not rappers.
Well,
Rappers kind of take
it's
off as
very
they need
clearly
to,
like
but
a
produce.
psyop,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Like
Like all of this is a psyop at this point.
no offense, because you're a smart guy, and I think that you're an inquisitive thinker, but I think that you're inflating Drake and Kanye too much. They don't. It's not. You're only saying that because you've been told that. You know, it's
No,
just.
that's not
It's
true
not.
though. But I actually feel that. Like every time I put on a Drake album, I can listen to the entire thing all the way through. The last time I could say that about Kendrick was Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kanye,
I
on the
don't.
other hand, I mean, I don't know. I mean, The Life of Pablo is probably the last really good one too. The rest of them are kind of off. I mean, don't get me
Dude.
wrong, bangers on the one about Kim too, but it's just like, yeah.
Who like I. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, who cares? Who cares about fucking. Like, I mean, obviously a lot of people do, but it's just like I don't know. It's just at the end of the day, these guys are just pop stars like anybody else, you know.
Right, and if you don't care about
Like for
politics, you care
example,
about
for
rap.
for example, like I believe to contrary to what I'm saying here, I'm a big music guy, as you know, right? And
Sure.
you know, everyone that calls them that's a self-proclaimed big music guy likes the Beatles. I fucking hate the Beatles. The Beatles suck. And the only reason why the Beatles got popular is because they paid a bunch of people to stand in a line outside of a venue where this band was playing. And what happens is when you pay people to stay into a line, people that walk by wonder what they're missing out on, and you create FOMO. And so then all of a sudden you get a bunch of people in this line not even knowing what show they're about to see. Surely the line is going to be worth it. Hence the birth of the Beatles. It's the same thing with everybody, with all the other pop stars and shit
Now,
like that. If there's a line out the door, people are gonna think of them in a different light. You know what I mean? And the Beatles suck. They're an awful band. They're the most overrated band in history, I think.
now I
Do they
don't
have
disagree with
influence and
that.
do they? Yeah, I mean, do they have influence and are they legendary? Yeah, of course. But like the Beatles are the original Jonas Brothers. You remember those guys,
Yeah,
right?
right. Like the Stones were way better at the time. I agree. And there's
Exactly.
other artists like
The
at the
Stones are the
time.
best rock band of all time. Exactly. Um,
Sure, you can definitely make that argument. No, I don't think you have much pushback on that for
but
sure.
it's the same.
My
It's
point
the
was just
exact
that.
same
But
concept with Drake and Kendrick and
but
Kanye. It's the
would
exact
you
same
say
thing.
that Michael Jackson and maybe not Taylor Swift, that's a bad example, but Michael Jackson and other artists like that are an artificial inflation of like basically like fucking interest in the public
I mean,
space.
I
You know what I
personally
mean?
like. I actually do like Michael Jackson, but yeah, I can see that. I can see how. Um, yeah, absolutely. I could see how it's an industry, right? These industry heads get something good with a person and they're like, "Okay, we can market this. We can blow this up. We can do these stunts. We can make things happen." People are obviously
Sure.
you know what I mean? We can hire a team. Go look at the writing creds on fucking anything Beyonce's ever made, anything Drake's ever made. Kendrick has
Sure.
producers. I'm pretty sure he writes his own lyrics. Um, I'm pretty sure. Uh, and
They're
it's like
terrible enough that I believe Kendrick does write his own lyrics, by the way.
it's an industry thing though, you know what I mean? Like you find a person,
Yeah, yeah.
they're marketable, you inflate them and everyone else agrees, you know what I mean?
Right.
um
Yeah, it's just I think Kendrick Lamar is purely famous off of his cadence, the way that his voice sounds and the way that he raps words together. I think like it's like Easy E, right? Easy E was the greatest producer of all time or whatever before because he brought all the NWA together, and then they made him start rapping because they realized like he can't write for shit, but he can sing like a motherfucker and he can like say he can sound good on a track, right? So
yeah.
I think
uh,
in that same
yeah,
light you get Kendricks and Drakes and people like that where it's like they just sound good. We're just gonna have everybody in the industry write for them and then put out music through them.
one thing that Drake fans like to say, which is true, it's a true statement, but like listen to what you say, what you're saying. One that says every Drake fan that says every song Drake makes or every song Drake hops on becomes a hit. And it's like, yeah, no fucking shit it becomes a hit. Drake is on it.
Yeah, but you
It's
can't
not be
say that about every Kendrick song, though, right? Or can you?
I mean, I don't think Kendrick features on many things.
I mean, that's fair. He has featured on
And I
like some
think
of
that
his own
Kendrick won a
artists.
bunch of Grammys this year with one of his
Well,
songs.
we
So
all know
yeah.
Grammys are the most legitimate award in the history of music.
Well, exactly. But
Remember when
but
Kanye pissed on them because they were fake and he didn't even care?
yeah, of course. Like
What?
who cares? But all I'm saying is,
Well, I mean, it
you know,
sounds like some people do.
I'm just saying that everyone that's like, oh, every song Drake goes on is a fucking hit. It's like, remember the Block Boy JB song from like years ago,
The which one?
right? It's like a Block Boy JB, right? And song, and Drake hopped on it. I
Yeah, yeah,
forgot what
yeah.
the name of the song is, but it was like he hopped on it. That song became like the biggest song that year, and it was because Drake was on it. And it was like, oh man, every song Drake hops on is a fucking hit. And it's
Well,
like,
this all
yeah,
started because every artist in the world wanted to feature with Drake, and then they did, like Young Thug, 21 Savage, Future, like all the Weeknd, like everybody. And let's not forget the Weeknd, who hates Drake now, is the only reason he's famous is because Drake sold him the greatest album he's ever written, which Drake actually wrote,
which is what
which is the first Weeknd album. What is that called? It's not Take Care.
I,
That's Drake's album. What's the Weeknd album called?
I'm not sure, but yeah, all I'm saying, man, is I don't fucking buy into any of this shit. And but I think that if I'm arguing, and you're right, we don't know these people personally, so I don't know, I can't speak on who they are as a person. You know what I mean? I bet
Right.
if if you cross someone in line somewhere, and if I cross Kendrick Lamar backstage somewhere and he's a dick to me, then he's a dick. If I cross by
Well,
Drake and
where
he's
would that
nice, then
ever
he's nice.
happen? I mean, where would Kendrick and you ever be in the same place backstage? Let's be
Yeah,
real.
exactly. Like no one actually, and that's my point, is no one
Right, right.
actually knows how they are, you know what I mean? And
Sure.
and and everything. All I'm saying is the energy that Drake gives off is fucking weird, bro. It's fucking strange. Like, look at like today, the fucking drone video of him swatting it with the flip flop. Like, that's just weird, bro. It's just Drake activities. That's why there's like a million Drake jokes. Like, Drake closes the fridge with his hip. Drake piano falls on Drake's head and the keys come out of his mouth. Drake sees cupcakes on the table and says, "I've been good." You know what I mean? Like, that's why
Right, right,
there's so
right.
many jokes like that. Is because he's just fucking weird.
Right,
He's a
and
he
Kendrick
just
Kendrick needs a booster seat to drive, right? And Kendrick is a fucking midget and like,
Yeah,
Kendrick's short
he's small as fuck. Now I will say I've never seen Drake live before. I've seen Kendrick live. He happened to be headlining a festival last year so I saw him there, and that
okay.
show was fire. That show was
Okay.
fucking gas. It was a sick time,
And this is
and it was like
Kendrick.
Kendrick. Yeah, it was
Well, yeah, but
fucking
you're a
dope.
Kendrick fan. We already know this.
I like Kendrick, but I also, there's like I told you earlier, I've flipped 3 Drake songs. I've never flipped a Kendrick song. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
but
like
again, just the fact that you're even willing to make music with someone else's music is just a testament to how great that song is, right?
it's exactly, it's more hype, it's more palatable. Like I just said, I think a Drake Super Bowl halftime show would have been way more hype than
Sure.
I
But
can.
just
But that's
because
not the point.
but no,
That's
but
not the
the
point.
funny thing is
Taylor
that the
Swift is
conclusion
hype.
no, 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 no,
Taylor
no. The
Swift is hype to
conclusion
her
is
fans.
drawn that because Drake is more hype and palatable means Kendrick is therefore instantly more deep, and that's just not the case. He's just different.
But that's you. Yeah, yeah, you could say that about fucking Taylor Swift. Her songs are more hype. You see the tours that she sells out.
No,
Taylor Swift's
I
more
know,
hype
but
than
what I'm
Kendrick
saying is
Lamar.
that people like
Like,
Kendrick just like they're like hipsters. They think that they're sick for liking some like, oh my God, he's a grassroots guy and no, he's an industry plant just like the rest of them. What do you mean he's some fucking from the dirt? That you don't think Scott Storch and the rest of fucking music Hollywood is driving around Compton just picking people at random? Get the fuck out of here. That's exactly what they're doing. You know what I mean?
yes,
You know Scott
yes.
Storch.
Yeah, he made a fucking candy shop, which is
Yeah, 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 yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
song
yeah.
fucking rules, dude.
Dude, great,
At
one
the
of
end
the
of the day,
greatest songs
the
ever.
best artist of all time, it comes down to Dave Blunt and 50 Cent. Okay, those are the two musical artists that will go down in history as being
Holy
the real
shit.
ones.
Uh,
She eating my kids like a pedophile, dude. Come on, that's like
I mean,
that's a
that's a bar. That's a bar. It doesn't matter. If Drake said that shit, it's going up on the fucking, the mantle. If fucking Kendrick said that shit, it's going in the fucking the history books. You
right.
know what I
He'll
mean?
lose a
But
lot of fans with that.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well,
I just don't look. I just
Well,
can't get behind. I can't get behind that Drake is like fucking I don't know. You're suggesting that he's like cool, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree that Drake is cool. I think
I
Drake
think
is lame.
I think Drake gets more bitches than either of us combined, and therefore we're just never gonna understand what it's like when you finally run out of pussy to smash and you start fucking dudes.
Well, Drake gets so much ass that Drake gets so much ass that you heard that hot sauce story when he put it in the condom.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, like okay, cool. I don't fucking care. He's weird. He's just a weird guy.
Yeah,
He's
and
a weird
Kendrick's out
fucking
there
guy.
cheating on his mother, or the baby mother that he won't marry, and I mean, we're talking
There's
about
okay,
like
yeah.
legitimate things, and
There's
and if you have
there's
a
Tom.
friend, wait, if you have a friend that's just like Kendrick, that's been dating some girl for 12 years, they have several kids together, and then refuses to marry her, has a drug problem on the side, cheats on her, and hits her. You think that that's like a cool guy? That's like a sick person?
I'm not. I didn't say Kendrick was cool. Like I said, I
Well,
I,
the
I like
argument is
them.
whether or not Kendrick is cooler than Drake. It's not whether or not Drake is a objectively cool guy. This was a Kendrick versus Drake beef. This was not our argument. This was not a we need to fit Drake into the zeitgeist of cool people thing.
Can you educate me though? Why did who fired who like obviously as we've learned yesterday from Trump, Ukraine made the first move on Russia. Okay, so
Which is
so
insane, by the way. I mean, just
give
tell me you
me
need
give me the
money.
rundown. Who fired first, and why are these two rich rappers fighting with each other?
You
Like
know,
why?
I fear we're going to end up in sort of a Waco dead end here because it is sort of this debate of who actually fired the first shot. There was a lot of subtweeting at each other. There was like a lot of in the songs they would like say things about other artists in the industry that were on the rise that they didn't necessarily like, and people are like, "Oh, they must be talking about each other." But the actual first like recorded legitimate shot, I believe, was Kendrick in Control where
That's
this
right, where he called out everybody. Right. And then
right.
didn't like J. Cole, who by the way, his fans pee sitting down.
Yeah,
Jay
J.
didn't
Cole, I
did
was a huge fan, by the way. I used to pee sitting down, and now I'm no longer a fan of J. Cole, so I fully agree.
right. So but didn't J. Cole say something like he said like he called it like the big three or something, and then Kendrick Lamar hated that, and then and then J. Cole was
Right.
like, all right, yeah, you're right, I'm out. And
No, no,
then
no, no, no.
and then right.
J. Cole said the big three. Kendrick said, nah, it's just me. And then J. Cole and Drake got on a fucking beef track together towards Kendrick. Then
Oh,
when
okay.
Kendrick went back at J. Cole was like, you know what, you're right, I'm out. Because he was like, I don't even really care anyways, right? He just did. He's
Huh.
like,
Sounds like Kendrick's a little bit more resilient and smarter than these guys then, huh?
how so?
If J. Cole's dropping out and is
Well, J.
going
Cole's a bitch,
2v1.
dude. He was born in Lafayette, Georgia. He went to a private school. Okay, he was raised by a white mother and a fucking. It literally like it's like the guy from Eminem. He's like, you think you hard? You went to private school, Clarence. Like that's J. Cole,
Sounds like
dude.
that
Jermaine.
sounds like Aubrey Graham to me, bro.
Well, Aubrey is
Was
no is
raised
Aubrey
by
is
a
not
white mom. Dude,
necessarily
Drake is Jewish, bro. He's a Jew. Drake is a literal Jew. Like he's a Canadian Jew with a white mom.
right. Right. Well, Aubrey is not, independent of a private upbringing, a luxurious upbringing. And again, if we're going back to the conversation that you just had with me 5 seconds ago, you said it doesn't matter whether or not they had a hard upbringing or not, right? So who gives a fuck? The point
Exactly,
is,
but
the
you
point
just said that
is,
about J. Cole, so I'm just being fair.
right, right, right. No, I understand. Two pussies team up together against a guy who had an objectively hard childhood. Right, we get it. But the point though is that J. Cole backed out because he's never wanted any beef with anybody. Like even when he hated Kanye and J. Cole, he literally said they were my favorite artists. So he's a puss. He doesn't really have a backbone. The thing about the Drake Kendrick thing is that everybody else that heard Kendrick say that was like, like it's probably not really worth my time. Drake was personally offended because Drake's the reason Kendrick is famous. Kendrick Lamar's very first pop out song, before Good Kid, Mad City, before Section 8, 80, whatever, it was fucking Problems, Drake's song, where he
Yeah.
featured Kendrick. So, it's just a bunch of ungrateful guys that hate Drake because he's bigger than them and he put them on. It's like this weird that happens with friend groups. That happens with every other walk of life. Why wouldn't it happen with musicians? People are weird and jealous. And Drake has obviously been the most prominent figure in rap for the last 10 years. That's not even debatable.
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So with that being said, you have a lot of other people who are, look at Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon's probably the funniest comedian on the internet right now, but he's not the most popular.
That's true. That's true.
Right. So it's not always the most raw talent that gets, the trophy, right? Like sometimes it's
Okay.
a
But
combination of other things.
in this example, Drake would be Joe Rogan, right? Who clearly has the numbers and is like the biggest of them. But you ever hear Joe Rogan do stand up? It's fucking terrible. You know what I
Terrible,
mean?
terrible. I love Joe Rogan to death. Terrible, 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 terrible. Terrible
It's
stand up.
awful.
Should never
But
tell a joke in his life. Yeah,
he's
no.
got the biggest podcast in the world,
Right.
and
Well,
I will
because he's good at
apologize to
talking
his
to.
face if we're ever invited onto it.
Yeah, if we're
But his
ever
stand
invited
up is
onto it, I
awful.
hope he plays this audio clip for us, just right in front of everybody in the beginning of our
But
episode.
he's like a Drake type, or Drake's like a Joe Rogan type, where yeah, he's got the numbers, but he doesn't have like the fucking
Yeah, but
the
Joe Rogan's not pushing like fucking fake, online betting, gambling sites and fucking. Now I'm going against Drake here because now we're talking about Joe. This was never supposed to be about Joe. Joe's my
my
fucking
bad. Yeah, I'm
Jesus.
using like a stupid
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I hear
yeah,
you.
my bad.
Joe is my David
Sorry, I'm
Koresh,
at
just so
Trader
we know.
Joe's, bro. I'm trying to figure out what to buy. I don't even
No,
know.
yeah,
Sorry.
you're good. You're good. Like I said, Joe's my David Koresh, so I mean, he's very important to me. Um, but anyway, no, I mean, it really does seem like Kendrick feels like he has the raw talent that should be recognized, and he's just a spoiled little fucking brat that he didn't get the number one artistship, and that he's not selling the most, and yada yada yada, and that Drake's actually the one clearing charts right now. You know what I mean?
Isn't Kendrick clearing charts though?
No, but remember all the charts I just sent you? That's actually not true. You send me some blog post from some Reddit thread and you're like, "Oh, look at Kendrick and Drake are beefing. They're fucking Kendrick's got more sales." Then I send you the literal Billboard chart list for the last like 15 records that they fucking post and it's all Drake. Yet you say nothing about that. Top
I
2
look.
artists worldwide, number 1 artist. Kendrick didn't even beat Eminem in the year that he had the most popular album in his release date to date. He didn't even beat Eminem, and Eminem didn't even put out a fucking album. It's just Kendrick is not who he thinks he is and who the internet makes him out to be. He is a moderately talented rapper, and he needs to stay in his lane, which is he's a crack baby, and he needs to rap about being a crack baby. The second that he
And
starts talking about being a fuckboy and thinks he's the top of the rap game and no other kings but him, it's like, bro, relax. You really don't have a body of work that would speak to that. Whereas Drake
Drake's
has
album
number one
opened up.
albums from the past decade. Every album he's released has been number one. Come on, dude,
Dra-
get the fuck
Dra-
out of here.
they're both gonna open with number one because they're huge rappers. It's about the units. Drake opened up with 250,000 units. Kendrick, and in November when Kendrick dropped DNX, he opened up with 319,000 units in November. So I mean,
What's the total number right now, though? Because Drake's album's been
uh
out less, and it's still beating Kendrick's album in total sales.
I don't know if that's true.
I
I
what about?
think
I
that
just sent that to you on the Twitter shit.
no, obviously he's gonna be number one. It's literally Drake, and he just came out with a new album, so everyone's gonna
But
get
in
on his.
2024, it says, bro. It says 2024. You're ignoring that part. Listen to me. 2024. It says the number 2 artist worldwide in a year that he did not release an album was Drake. Meanwhile, the most popular release to date for Kendrick was in the year 2024, and he's like the number 8 on that list behind Luke Bryan or Zach Bryan or whatever. Like, who the fuck? Like a country artist? Are you serious?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? I
I'm
didn't
just
even know
sad.
country artists bought music or streamed it. I thought they all just gathered in a fucking bayou somewhere and fucked each other's cousins and shit. But here we are.
Country music
Apparently,
is actually, believe it or not, it's more popular than rap. Believe it or not, which
country.
is insane. Yeah, it's
Oh
fucking
yeah,
insane,
that's why
dude.
we live in the world we live in right now. That makes total sense, actually.
No, it's weird how country is like the music, dude. Even in other countries, these country fucking stars they're
Really?
rapping about like being American, but country is like the number one fucking genre worldwide. It's nuts.
That's so strange to me. That by itself deserves a
I
whole
mean, dude,
conversation, you know.
I mean, regardless of what you think about, music awards and shit, because you can say it's all rigged. I mean, country has their own fucking music awards, you know.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
uh, so yeah, man. I look, hey, sorry, 1 second.
Sure.
I yeah, sorry. I'm at Trader Joe's right now,
Right. Right.
arguing
Right. No,
about
make
two
sure you
two
get make sure you
two
get the right
fucking
tampons and shit for your.
two. We're arguing about two millionaires that are fucking, fine.
Right. 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 Neither of them, by the way, shop at Trader Joe's. Let's just put that out there.
I think I actually have this theory that there's this higher echelon market that these celebrities get their food in.
Yeah, it's
That
called Nobu.
will no, that's a restaurant, bro.
I
That's a
know, bro. Relax. It's a joke.
yeah. You ever been to an Air One?
Yeah, it's like for fucking bougies.
Yeah, I even think that their grocery stores are even crazier than Air One. But anyways, I'm
Where
getting
are
off
they
topic.
even then? Where do these grocery stores exist?
Market, bro, where the kids are.
I've never seen them, bro.
Underground market where the kids are. I'm
Well,
telling you.
I'm telling you, if Kendrick and Drake have so much beef, it's probably because they were in the same room at the same time. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's a
Elon
good
said
point.
it best yesterday in that beautiful interview he did with Sean Hannity, where he said, if we weren't over the target, they wouldn't be so upset with me.
Damn.
And those are words to live by, because what we're seeing now is the death rattles of the parallel command structure, the three-letter agencies that exist in this country. And part of those three-letter industries propaganda is Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
USAID specifically funded Kendrick to go do like indoctrination in Ghana or something like that. So, I mean, I have no evidence to prove that. I just know it was true. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, so you're saying I just want to sum this up. So you're saying that you like that Drake is a fuck boy. You don't like how pretentious Kendrick Lamar is. That's your stance.
I mean, that's a very watered down version of what I said over the last 30 minutes, but yeah, I mean, roughly I mean, Drake is like a little, he's a fuck boy. He's a pretty boy. He talks to multiple girls at once. They all love him. Oh, Drake, you might, it's like a persona. And for someone like me, I can kind of relate to that a little bit. I'm not saying I want to live the Drake life, but I get it. I get it. And meanwhile, Kendrick, I have buddies that are in relationships that they don't take very seriously. I myself have taken every relationship too seriously, actually, to the point where I usually chase them away. But with that being said, I've never been in a relationship where I'm like, yeah, let me have a perfectly good girl who supports me right next to me, has my all my kids, doesn't fucking, do anything to disrespect me, but let me just go out and disrespect her with every action I do.
Yeah, and then life happens, bro, and then he raps about it and
Yeah,
fucking
life
says about
happens,
how
but
much of
life
a
doesn't have
shit
to
he
happen by
is.
doing blow and fucking hookers behind your wife's back, right? Like I
Right,
feel
but
like
then
that
he
shouldn't have to
then he
happen.
turns around and fucking raps about that. You know what I mean?
Who?
Uh, Kendrick Lamar. He has many songs about him talking about how much of a piece of shit he's been.
I have never heard him once say that he admitted to cheating on his girl, hitting his girl, and doing blow. I've never heard him say that once. If you can
Listen,
find
listen.
the song, please.
I got you. It's on the last album he made before this one. I believe it was called Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Yeah.
Okay.
Literally most of that fucking album. Granted, yes, it's kind of like you have to fucking watch Rachel Maddow for a little bit before you watch it to get yourself in the mood, but
Well, right,
um
because he's pushing the DEI narrative that is dead now, which is part of why Kendrick's part of the death rattle of a dying society, is what I'm saying.
yeah.
His
Yeah, true.
fan base is gonna disappear the same way Kamala's did, bro. They're just gonna fade off into the bushes somewhere and just drink a bunch of wine and talk about how they almost ran the country, We almost had it.
Kendrick, Kendrick Lamar yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't like I
Look,
said,
gun to your head, Kendrick Lamar or Drake, what's your answer? And then I'll give you mine.
I know what your answer is.
Just gun to your head. Drake or Kendrick, gun to your head. Gun to your
I
head.
feel like there's more shit to unpack with Kendrick, so I would choose Kendrick.
Okay, perfect. And I would choose to eat the bullet because I wouldn't pick either of these fucking losers. But look at you, dying on a hill for a celebrity.
Oh my
Isn't that
god.
just like you? Honestly,
Oh
what
my
a
god.
celebrity cuck Andrew is. Folks,
Dave
I just want
Blunts.
you guys to understand that
Dave
this is what
Blunts.
I deal with Andrew. This guy supported a producer who was Me Too'd more than fucking Bill Cosby. He was wearing
Okay.
T-shirts of
We
this
can't
of this
use
producer, loving this producer. I won't even name him just to spare you, but we all know what it is. We know who it is. You go through your Instagram, people will figure it out. They'll know who you
no,
support.
because then people are gonna fucking think that I'm wearing that Kanye swastika shirt, and that's not true.
Honestly, you should have that on the other side of the producer shirt. You know how it's like a fucking breast pocket? You should do that on the other breast pocket. You know what I mean?
I got, dude. I don't want to. We can't post this now. I can't talk about that guy,
Well,
dude.
don't say his name. Look, a lot of producers have been canceled, okay? There's no way they're going to figure out exactly who this is. We're all right.
Yeah,
We're
but
all right.
you're acting like I supported him after I knew what he did, and I
No,
didn't.
well, I mean, there was a gray area there where you were like, dude, I don't know if I can. And it was like, bro, I'm pretty sure it's clear cut. And you're like, I don't know, man. I want to just see all the facts first or something like that. I forget what
I
you
did
said.
not say that.
You were
It was
definitely
very
let's get
rap.
all the
No,
facts
no,
first type
no,
of
no,
guy.
no, no.
Yeah, and
It
I'm
was,
pretty sure you said something about you were texting a homie you had. I forget his last name, Chauvin or something, Derek. I forget anyway.
oh my
Um,
fucking god. All
yeah,
right, I'm
so
hanging up, dude.
come on. No, but for real, this is who you support. This is who you choose to give your undying allegiance to. And I love you as a brother, but I do question some of the decisions that you make. This is just one of those.
Dude, this is just now you're spreading misinformation about me.
This is Misinformation News Network, by the way. Al Jazeera doesn't even hold a candle to us. So I
This
don't know
is
what
you're
you thought.
spreading misinformation about literally me. That none of this ever happened, by the
No,
way.
that's not true. Most of this actually happened. I'm embellishing only slightly.
It's not true. It's not true.
Bro, you're definitely a we need all the facts guy. I don't know why you're trying to fight that.
Yeah, I'm a. Let's look at the rest of the body cam. You know.
Yeah. Right. You're like, hold on, let's just see. I mean, who really was the provoker here? Well, what if he
How
just
could I be
wasn't
like that
breaking
but
the
also
law?
be a Kendrick fan, dude? I don't understand. Like
Well, because
you're
it's the
saying,
duality of man. In the common age, how are men dating women who are also dating other men? It's like this is just the duality of man these days. Men put up with more shit than they need to. They make homes and empty, broken homes, and they don't really understand what it is that they're putting all of their eggs into the basket of, is what I'm saying. And then only later down the road do they have to try to justify and make sense of it.
man.
And all of this started just because Ukraine threw the first missile and we thought it was Russia. I don't understand why we can't just have the truth in the media.
Yeah.
By the way, if we're really going to get canceled this podcast, this episode, did you see the plane that crashed in Toronto? Did you see the flight attendants and crew?
Smiling.
No, that was the meme. Did you see the actual crew posted
Oh,
by?
all women.
Yes. All of them.
Yeah.
Now, we knew they couldn't drive. I don't know why we ever thought they could fly a fucking plane. They
All
can't
right,
even
I'm
ride a
muting
bike.
myself. I'm just gonna let you go
They
off. I
can't
don't
even.
want
That's
any part
fine.
of this.
That's fine. That's fine. They can't even ride a bike correctly. Have you ever walked next to a woman, by the way, on a date? They can't even walk straight. They walk crooked into you and then get mad at you for not walking straight. It's like, bitch, you're
No,
lopsided. What do you mean?
I can't relate. My feet are flat. I walk crooked.
Right. Okay. So anyway, if you ever walked next to a woman, which it sounds like you haven't because you're an incel, but if you ever have, you'd understand. So if you know they can't walk, you also know they can't ride a bike. You also know they can't drive. Why the fuck would anyone put them in front of a goddamn cockpit? The only cock they should be in front of is mine. You know what I mean? Nobody else's.
Oh god. The longest flight I ever took was from Sydney, Australia to San Francisco, 15 and a half hour flight.
Yeah.
And when I got on the plane and I strapped myself in and I was preparing for the next 15 and a half hours,
You said, please
which
God, don't let it
fucking
be a woman.
which fucking sucks. This pilot hops on the intercom, and it's not a man. And I would be lying if I said for a second I didn't think, oh, you know. But let me tell you, bro. I let me tell you this, okay? Women women will find the calmest route for you to take, and the safest route of the flight was wound up being the most calmest and less turbulent flight of my life. Matter of fact, she said, "Hey, we might be coming up on some weather, but we're going to do some adjustments to try and get out of it." And she did.
Now that's great and all,
Okay.
but what do you say to the people that just landed upside down in Toronto?
Damn.
Yeah, right. You can't really say anything. Like, imagine you're landing and you're like, "Hey, she's coming in a little hot. What do you think?" "Yeah, a little hot, but we'll bounce off the snow. We'll be fine." Like, what was the thought process there? You know what I mean?
I have no idea how I have no idea how a plane could even do that, but more how nobody fucking died. How does
No,
that
it's
happen?
insane. 17 people were injured, and so they'll never have to work again in their lives if they get the right lawyers. But the rest of them that didn't die, insane. I would have pretended to be injured if I was just in the area. You know what I mean? Just to get the check.
How does that even fucking happen, bro? You
Well, and
know?
it's
How does that
insane
even
too because
happen?
if I'm sure most people have seen the video by now. I mean, they're literally engulfed in a fireball for like 300 feet while they're sliding upside down. I didn't even know those seatbelts worked that great. I figured those things would just fucking break on impact or you would just slide right out of it because you're not really, that tight in there anyway, right? Like they're kind of like bus seatbelts where it's like just a regulation to say we have it. It's not actually supposed to prevent you from dying, but apparently they do.
Yeah, man,
Now,
I'm
somebody made the
happy. I'm
joke and
happy
said,
everyone is alive, but I'm almost like that's like the weirdest part of it for me though.
well,
Is
I
like
mean, what,
how
you
is
needed
everyone.
people to die to justify your bloodlust?
No, I just don't understand how they lived. I mean, it's kind of a miracle. You
Well,
know,
I
it's a
mean, I
miracle that.
it's a miracle that no one died of like panic or like a heart attack from, the sheer like stress of being in a plane and not in your control and then being upside down, sliding down the tarmac with fire
Well, you know
coming
what?
in.
You know what's fucking wild though about that whole thing are the people that literally you just survived one of the scariest fucking ways to go out in today's age is on an aircraft, right?
Sure,
You
sure.
just survived. You're hanging upside down. You're you were just supposed to land and it looked like the plane was coming in smooth and next thing you know you're flipped upside down and things are breaking and there's an emergency and it's fucking terrifying. Holy shit, what the fuck's going on?
Right.
But then you had people
Hold on, I'm
during
listening.
all
I just got to
this,
clock out for lunch. So if you hear shit in the
you,
background.
you had you had people that during all of this still tried to open the overhead compartment to grab their
I
bags.
mean, that's probably just shock, right? Like that's probably just like people that just they're not processing how real of a situation they just went through and they're just trying to live some sort of normalcy to not like completely become unhinged and go like off the deep end. That's my thought on that.
Ah,
Because I mean,
I don't
in
know.
reality, like not to paint a
None of your
bleak
stuff
picture,
is
but
that none of your stuff is that important, dude. Let's
no,
just be
but I mean,
honest.
it's like a shock thing. It's not about the importance of it. It's more just like if you just get off the plane, like there's like a I don't know, it's like this weird like unclosed like page in a book, like or unread rather. Like you have to go back and get it. Like okay, so when people go through like massive car accidents, right? You'll see them like getting out and like, oh my God, like my car, what can I do? Like you should be lucky that your neck's not falling off. You know what I mean? Like fuck your car. But people go through these like oh my God, my normal life is now not normal. And they like, I need some sort of normalcy to make me feel normal in this moment. And then I'll process it later. It's like a weird defense mechanism that humans have.
Yeah,
So
I guess.
the idea that someone like flips upside down and is hanging like a fucking Christmas tree ornament in a fucking 737, but then somehow like or what is it, CRJ? It was a CRJ. Those
Yeah.
CRJs are getting I mean, that's the second, third one? What's going on with these things?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I know. I
Yeah.
know it's wild. Yeah,
Anyway,
I mean,
I mean,
I
it doesn't
had a
seem
bit of
that
a
uneasy.
travel. I had a bit of a travel bug for a little while because I was like, damn, there's a lot that I haven't seen and a
Some
lot
people
that I
call
want to
that
see.
wonder lost.
There's a lot that I haven't seen and there's a lot that I want to see, and now it's slowly going away as the days go by. I'm just like, damn, like
Like what the fuck? Would you like to tell the people what your 15-minute city idea, your theory though about
Yeah,
all
my
this?
thing is I think they never want us to fly again. I'm willing to go on record here, and if I end up suiciding myself in the forest with a shotgun, 5 shots to the back of the head, and the shotgun's 40 feet away from me, look at Clinton first. But if this is what I think that the planes thing, it's like it's too much freedom. They don't want us to have any freedom. They showed us that during the fucking 9/11 when they did the Patriot Act. They showed us that during COVID. I mean, they don't want us to have any freedom at all. They want us to slowly have less and less, just like George Soros says, you will have nothing and you will love it. I do believe that they really want that. And with that being said, right now, plane flight, travel, especially like private jets and things like that, are it's a very easy doorway to like freedom to do things that people who are restricted to car travel or no car, bus travel, right, are they can't do. So this 15-minute city concept has kind of been floating around after the fires, and they're saying that basically the idea is that they're going to build these like controlled environment cities where you could be, within 20 miles of another group of 1 million people, but have no idea that they ever existed, have no idea about the way they live their life. Basically, just like almost like fallout shelters. And so,
Yeah.
the quickest way to get people comfortable not traveling is to kill everybody that tries to travel. Period. I mean, that's just the easiest way. Next, they're going to start executing people on the freeway. Like they're going to just have the National Guard lined out there and just executing anyone who tries to drive. Then, when someone tries to ride a bike through a park, they're going to slash the tires and have them fly over into a ravine and get decapitated and then eaten alive by like lions or some shit somehow. And then they're basically just going to say the only safe place is either in your house or within a 10-minute walking distance of your home. So there you go. And I
Damn.
don't think that's that far away, by the way. They're already fear mongering us with this asteroid that's coming in 2032. I predict by 2030, they got us all locked up like Wally.
2032 asteroid? I haven't heard about
You
this.
have not? Oh my God. This is so ever since they announced this like a month ago, they've been slowly like by a point 1% increasing the chance that this thing's
Yeah,
gonna
right now
hit.
I'm looking it up. It's at 3.1% right
Yeah, and
now.
it
That's
started at like
yeah.
0.9 or something. And they were like, no, there's no way. They're like, now every time something new happens, every time a plane falls out of the sky, every time Trump does an executive order, every time Doge finds more trillions of dollars that was in government waste, all of a sudden this asteroid just seems to get a little bit more likely to hit us. It seems weird that they're correlated.
Question though, if it's calling it a city killer,
Yes.
will
Not
this end all life on Earth as we know
No,
it, or will it
no,
just
not at all. In fact, what they're claiming, which I don't know why we believe them in the first place, they lied to us about everything, but they're
right?
claiming that it's a 300-meter maximum, which would make it about 900 feet, which is still a huge. It's like an aircraft carrier.
That's insanely huge. Yeah,
Right, but at the speed it's going and without an explosive payload, if it's just rock or whatever, it has a 30-mile blast radius where the area of effect is 30 miles around, right? So, I mean,
right.
it's not like a nuke where 30 miles blast radius, 50-mile radiation, 100-mile unsafe because of the winds. It's not like that. It's just like wherever it hits, you're fucked within 30 miles, period.
All right. Are we sure that it's not Iran?
That Iran is launching it off of a ship in the middle of the ocean? No, I'm not sure. In fact, I have good sources in the government that have told me that they do believe it is an Iranian warship. But we'll have to just kind of see how things play out. Um,
That's my favorite thing that we do, man. Is naming our sources without it actually without actually
yeah, no,
having
my
one.
sources say.
Yeah, they tell me this stuff. They tell me that I'm.
Look, I talk to very powerful people, and they've told me this. Okay, so you just need to believe me. But
Okay, so we're not like totally fucked if this YR4 hits then.
No, and from what I understand, like from what they're telling us, they're gonna know like 6 months ahead of time where it's gonna hit based on where we're spinning, how the asteroid's coming in,
Yeah,
yada
six
yada
months is
yada.
that's a little too cutting it close in my
I
opinion.
mean, not
But
really, because you only have to evacuate 30 miles. So it's like, it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, for people that have to leave their home lives and everything they've ever known behind, it's not a great idea. But I
okay,
mean, people have recovered before. And just like Tim said,
so
how attached
I
are you to a landmass? I guess is kind of what we're all wondering. Like, how important is it to you to be in a square
that's
foot
true.
of territory?
So, question. Ideally, this will hit in the middle of wherever the fuck,
India is
and
what they're predicting.
they're predicting. Okay,
Which, by
so
the way, that's the greatest
that
thing ever
actually answers
because
my question
well,
because
well,
I
well,
was going to
that's
say
oh, go ahead.
where ideally where would you want it to hit if it
Well,
wasn't there? But that's
look,
my answer.
I'm going on record to say that I don't want it to hit India, but the fact that they think it's going to do two great things for the world. Number one, it's going to eradicate call centers and scammers, right? Number
That's
two,
true.
it's going to make the world smell a lot better too, and deodorant sales will no longer struggle in the area.
Oh my god. You know what's crazy is I'm at Trader Joe's right now, and you're literally on speakerphone as I'm walking around
And you're
here.
in
By the
San
way,
Francisco, so I can only imagine the people that just think that you're talking to some like fucking West Texas corn farmer. Who knew I was such a bleeding conservative, dude? Holy shit.
they're saying India, but like,
I
can we
mean,
make sure that
no,
it's
right. Yeah,
India?
right. They're saying
Yeah.
India, they're saying the Ring of Fire, which is kind of like the Pacific Ocean area, right? Like, so they don't really know 100%. And it kind
Okay.
of seems like it's getting closer and closer to like, well, we're just going to end up hitting California. Oops.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, by the way, we were saying India this whole time, but it's about to land on you.
Right,
So
right. And by the way, we said 30 miles, but it's actually 3,000, so all of America's gone. Sorry, guys.
all America's gone, and yeah, right on
And
time
even
for
worse,
yeah.
India is still here.
Matter of fact, there's actually now that the blast took out the entire United States, it's actually going to turn into India.
I mean,
So
honestly, those people are just waiting to take over. They're just waiting for it. I'm telling you, they've already infiltrated systems at the highest levels. People think it's the Jews, it's actually the Indians.
it's not the Indians, it's the Chinese.
Well,
Everyone,
who do you think taught
my
them? What do you think India is?
eh,
Those are Asian people, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
that is true. However, my theory is that everyone is going to be Chinese one day. It's what's going to happen.
Interesting.
Everyone's going to be
CRISPR
Chinese one day.
or because
They're
of
they're
what?
they're going to cash in. They're going to fucking cash in, and it's going to be Red Dawn everywhere. And next thing you know, there's you know that Louis C.K. bit where he's like oh, thank you all for coming here tonight. Well, not all of you are here. Most of you will be at home. Actually, most of you will be in China because most people are in China. And he's like, well, actually, most people are dead. And it's true. It's literally there's more people in China. There's more dead people than alive people, period. But next to that is China. Like China has the most people.
Now, forgive
So
me,
there
isn't it India?
no, I believe China is the most populated place in the
Is
entire world.
is this something you can look up real quick, or is Trader Joe's
Yeah.
taking up your
No, I'm
bandwidth?
actually not at Trader Joe's. I've been lying to you. I need to go to Trader Joe's.
Oh wow, you've been lying this whole time?
Yeah.
Honestly, bro, we've been trying to do this podcast thing, and I think you're good at it. Don't get me wrong, but I think you missed your calling. I think your real job is in politics. You're such a good bullshitter and liar, and
I've
you
always been
st-
told that.
you strong
China.
man people like Kendrick Lamar. It's like you could do this, bro. You really have it.
So China has 1.4 billion. Oh God, India does too.
See,
Okay.
I thought.
Oh,
I
my
mean,
bad. Okay.
India's
So they
been
have about
working.
as many.
Look,
My bad.
the
You're
more
right.
people that they
Okay.
have, the more call centers they can open, period. Okay. So, like, that's just what they're doing right
Oh
now.
shit, dude! In 2022, India took over China.
Yeah,
Oh my
they've been
God,
baby booming
Jesus.
over there for sure.
Oh my God, my bad. You know
And
what though? By
we
looking that
still
up,
sent 50 billion in aid of condoms to that country, and well, they're not even using them.
by, which by the way, I just through that quick Google search that I just did while I was lying through my teeth about going to Trader Joe's because I need to go to Trader Joe's.
Sure,
I've been
which I'll
putting it
let you
off
go
all
do in
day.
just a few minutes here. We'll wrap it up,
Sure.
but
I realized through that Google search that there's way too many goddamn people in this world, man. That's so maybe the asteroid should hit there because
I mean,
I don't want
we only
anyone
have
to die, but
330 million. We're not even at a billion yet. These people are pushing too, right? Like, if we need to do some population control, I mean,
You know where it would be really funny if it hits though? Where
Where?
it'd be really funny if it hits the Pacific Palisades.
Oh my God. They burned, they flooded, and then they got hit by an asteroid, all just to make a
Imagine
15-minute city.
Yeah, right. Imagine like all this rebuild before 2032, and then up YRS or whatever the fuck, like coming down on Stevie Nicks' house again.
Yeah,
You know?
right, right, right. Did you see, by the
So,
way, fuck, I can't remember her name. She was an actress. She was moderately famous. I think she was in a couple TV shows, maybe a movie, but definitely not like a renowned. She said that her step parent, or not step parent, excuse me, her parents-in-law, like her married parents, they had a house in the Palisades, and it obviously burned to the ground because the Palisades doesn't exist anymore. But apparently, they are allowing people to go back and like rummage through the shit and like get, if there's anything that didn't burn, grab it. But you only get like, half an hour there, and then you got to leave because of all the toxic asbestos and shit. But apparently, when she went back there, Amazon had delivered a package to her parents' fucking house, which is amazing because it was just a foundation.
Oh wow.
And I
So
mean, if that's not the
wow,
end, if that doesn't signify the end of the world and total collapse, I don't know what does. The only thing worse than that is the new trend that's going around the internet where girls are placing dildos in public to then give them fellatio in front of people. It's insane.
dude, I've been seeing that shit.
Like, what
Yeah,
is that? Why is that even a thing?
I've been seeing that.
That's what
What
I'm
the fuck
saying.
is that?
No, and it's just
Okay,
people
so
just can't be. You can't just be a whore now. You have to just be a full blown Satan worshiper. I mean, like you have to be a full
so
on succubus.
so in conclusion, this in a way, this meteor, we just need more of them.
I think it's gonna be a cleanse for the world, an ethnic cleanse. A religious cleanse, a fucking whatever you want to call it. I mean, you think Benjamin Netanyahu did a number on Hamas? Wait till you see what this asteroid does. And to be honest, we probably need a reset. Let's just be real. Everything we just talked about for the last hour deserves a reset. I would think, right? I mean, it's a broken system. If you
Yeah,
have
and
a
then all of a
system that
sudden, yeah,
props
no
up
one's
Drake and
no.
Kendrick Lamar, we need to reset now.
I
I
was
mean,
gonna
let the
say
asteroid come.
no one's gonna argue about Drake and Kendrick when the asteroid comes down.
Well, I mean, they might say that if Drake fucking was in charge of the asteroid, then it would probably close us with the hips or whatever the fuck you said, right? They would hit us on the hip side. Whereas if Kendrick was in charge of the asteroid, it would be like, coming down in a fucking crown rose of thorns and talk about how we're all not black enough for him.
The Kendrick asteroid will be, hey, I predicted this at minute 2:15 in the middle of my album.
Right,
Like
right,
Kendrick
yeah, and
fans
oh
will
yeah,
find a
Kendrick
way to.
predicted this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you go back to his very first album, the line that he said here was actually, even though he's talking about hitting women, he's actually talking about a meteor coming down. It's a metaphor, guys. You guys just aren't deep enough to understand it. And with
Wow,
that, folks, I mean,
I
I
can't
feel
believe
like we
India.
got this now.
I can't.
TimDillonComedy.com. No, I'm just
Oh my god,
kidding.
I can't believe India passed China. That's fucking wild, actually.
I really can believe it. Those people are fertile.
Yeah, but oh right, and China has that like one child
Well, they
policy.
did for
That's
a long time, which took a dent out of their population. They since redacted that or rescinded or whatever. But yeah, they did for a long time. Like if you had more than one man or woman, you either or you donate or whatever, or you give them to the Biden administration, whatever you do with them. But
there's too many damn people in this world, man. There's too many damn people, and I feel like they're
sure,
gonna be asking for volunteers soon.
every
To
day I drive
to
on the
make this
5
easier.
freeway in Southern California, I feel exactly the sentiment that you're saying right now. There are too many goddamn people.
It's just too many fucking people, man. It's too easy to get a license. I have one.
And
You know,
you'd be surprised how many people can just get a license without even trying. I mean, people give women pilots licenses. They don't even have to learn how to fly. Literally, they can land a plane upside down with full of people and fucking oopsies. It's like them hitting a fucking curb, dude. It's like literally, this is the plain version of them hitting the curb and saying oopsies. With that being
oh
said,
my
folks, it
god.
was a good. Thanks for being with us today during the Kendrick and Drake beef, and this was an emergency podcast, so it was pretty impromptu. We'll upload it later today, and hopefully it resonates with a
I
lot of
don't
the
know if
folks.
we should, man.
Oh, this
I
one's
don't
going
know.
up. I have the audio clip. You're not in charge of the. For once, folks, the producer's not in charge of the show. The inmates are running the asylum, and from there on out, we will see what
I don't
happens.
know. I don't know if I feel comfortable with this one going on.
This one's perfect. This is the best public episode we've had to date.
Yeah, we covered Drake and Kendrick beef and why India should blow up.
Yeah. And then Netanyahu, for sure. We hit everything. I mean, this is if we don't get monetized for this, like I don't know, or demonetized for this, I don't know what we would, right? So we might as well just test it.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.